Okay, let's go. The League of Women Voters empowers voters and defends democracy at the local, state, and national levels. The League is a nonpartisan, grassroots organization working to protect and defend voting rights and ensure everyone is represented in our democracy. These intrepid women founded the League of Women Voters in 1920, 6 months before the 19th Amendment was ratified, giving women the right to vote. Their initial goal: assist 20 million newly enfranchised women exercise their rights as voters. The League today: we register voters, provide voter education materials online and through forums, host events for the public, educate high school students and others about the suffrage timeline and voting rights. We're the highlight of the Sweet Pea Parade. Join us. The League of Women Voters and the Bozeman Public Library sponsor candidate forums prior to each election. Take the opportunity to attend the October forums at the public library. Meet the candidates, learn about the ballot initiative, and ask questions important to you. The Suffrage Timeline is an interactive 30-minute presentation, a snapshot of suffrage in our country with a Montana focus. Designed for high school students, we deliver the Suffrage Timeline presentation to people of all ages. Enacted in 1788, the U.S. Constitution set the structure of the new federal government. But the Constitution left many powers to the states, including voter requirements. These 4 criteria were the voting requirements in many of the states in the first election. As the country expanded to the west, increasing from 13 to 23 states, property ownership became a less defining issue. Having fought in 2 wars, more men wanted to vote. By 1856, property ownership was eliminated as a voting requirement. The 13th Amendment ended slavery. 4 million people were freed. The 14th Amendment made anyone born in the U.S. an American citizen, birthright citizenship. The 15th Amendment gave all men the right to vote regardless of race or color, except Native Americans were not considered citizens. Voting requirements in 1870. The citizenship requirement was added the first time the Constitution mentioned voting. The race requirement was eliminated. However, some states enacted literacy tests that restricted Black Americans from access to voting. This Helena newspaper photo shows Montana women campaigning for women's suffrage before the 1914 election. They were successful. Male electors gave Montana women the right to vote in 1914. Missoula suffragist Jeanette Rankin was a leader in Montana's campaign for women's suffrage. Nationally, she represented a suffrage organization that became the League of Women Voters. In 1916, Rankin was elected to represent Montana in the U.S. House of Representatives. Prior to 1920, mostly Western states gave women the right to vote. Wyoming Territory was the first in 1869. Montana, a state with a high number of women homesteaders, the 11th in 1914. As a U.S. representative, Jeanette Rankin was instrumental in creation and passage of the 19th Amendment. Following ratification in 1920, white women in every state won the right to vote. However, most Black women were not granted voting rights until 1965. Native Americans were not granted full citizenship until passage of the Indian Citizenship Act. Since 1924, Montana Native Americans have experienced voting rights gains, losses, and regains lasting to the present. Leadership of Montana Senator Mike Mansfield was essential in passage of the Voting Rights Act of 1965. Congress adopted the law to ensure that states followed the 15th Amendment's guarantee that the right to vote not be denied because of race or color. The Vietnam War lasted from 1962 to 1975. Over half the American servicemen killed in Vietnam were 18 to 20 years old. Montana's Senator Mike Mansfield sponsored the 26th Amendment, lowering the voting age from 21 to 18. Voting requirements in Montana: U.S. citizen, 18 years old, Montana resident at least 30 days prior to the election, not serving time for a felony conviction, and be of sound mind. The Nitty-Gritty of Voting is an interactive league presentation designed to teach high school students the process and mechanics of voting. Students participate in activities throughout the presentation. Voter registration forms are available to eligible students. Vote 411 is an online voter guide created by the League of Women Voters. Personalized voting information is customized to your residential address. Read candidate responses to questions about the municipal election. Check your voter registration, polling place, and more. Make voting a habit. Vote in every election. Use Vote 411 to check your voting status. Learn about the candidates and issues on your ballot. Once you have the information you need and you know how to vote, voting is a piece of cake.